Hello again, everyone. I am answering via video the questions that we are bombarded with on the inquiries line on the website. And we're going to talk about stress, sleep, insomnia, because in today's stressful world, and I think forever it's going to be stressful, not just from COVID, but that'll go away, but there'll be something else. Number one, look, it is about psychology to a certain extent. I mean, we have to have a sense of humor. We have to try to be upbeat despite everything, because that really does matter in our stress level. But what stress is doing to everybody is aging them more intensely. And aging is down to the DNA level, okay? And so it, as you're more stressed, it shortens the DNA strands, and as the DNA strands get shorter, they're more likely to not duplicate correctly. And one of the things that is on the website for a reason, which I am a huge fan of, is that everybody should take Dineostema. It's a tiny little pill. It used to be that only the royal families of Japan and China could get the ingredients. And why did they take it? It was known to be for 1,000, probably several thousand years. I think it's been like 2,000 years. It's known to be anti-aging. They didn't know why it was anti-aging, but it's anti-aging because it helps elongate the telomeres, the caps of the DNA that help protect against the DNA getting too short. As the DNA gets too short, you notice people who all of a sudden you see them start aging really quickly. Their skin gets browner because we get more yellow as the blood supply to our skin dies back as we go down the path of life. And when people start to look like they're aging all of a sudden in an accelerated fashion, they start to get more lines, their skin starts to get darker and less pink. That often means that their telomeres are shortening, and that's not a good thing. And so what Dineostema does, prophylactically, it's not expensive. You only have to take 2 tiny little pills, one twice a day, ideally. It helps slow down the shortening of the DNA, which again, internally, along with anti-inflammatories, is slowing down the clock, but at the DNA level, okay? So I highly recommend Dineostema. In the vein of sleep and insomnia and stress, as your telomeres get shorter, it also makes you not sleep as well. Young people sleep really well. Why do they sleep really well? Because their growth hormone is high. Okay, exercise helps increase your growth hormone. Look, I give people, there are certain things that you can take now that are prescription that increase your growth hormone, but those have to be from your doctor. And keeping your thyroid good helps keep your growth hormone good. And then also keeping your adrenals healthy and optimized. And so what stress does is stress first, it flogs your adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys, okay? And so then you don't sleep as well. You jump when anybody makes a sound, or you hear a siren all of a sudden. Your hair may start to fall. You may start to get thinner hair up here. Your skin gets drier. That's all stress. So it's why I think everybody in today's world, and look, I deal with patients all over the world. I don't know a country where people aren't stressed out that I've found so far. Everybody needs to take adrenals. And we've discussed that in other videos. And then as your adrenals get depleted, your adrenals and your thyroid are best friends, And then your thyroid, which is trying to take up the extra workload, starts to get exhausted. Your thyroid gets low. So which is the chicken, which is the egg? Is it adrenals or is it thyroid that stress causes? And then your telomeres are shortening. Your DNA is getting not as healthy and more likely to duplicate in an abnormal way, which is not a good thing. It sets up the increased risk of disease. And so there's a reason why we're treating all the pieces of the puzzle. And so sleep. Young people are sleeping better, their growth hormones better, generally their adrenals are better, generally their thyroid is healthier. And so exercise helps keep your growth hormone higher, okay? There's another supplement on my website, HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary axis, deep in your brain. It's where all the stimulation comes from to produce your growth hormone. So I'm a huge fan of taking that. But at some point, sometimes you have to take the prescription one. So sleep. So as your growth hormone gets lower, as your adrenals get lower, as your thyroid gets lower, then you don't sleep as well. And again, people think if their thyroid's low, they should be exhausted and they sleep all the time, but that's not correct. So your adrenals are low, your thyroid is low, one, the other, or both of them, you don't sleep as well, okay? Now, your hormones play a role in there, progesterone in particular, and progesterone gets low in men and women. And the reason I have progesterone support on the website is there are plenty of men who their wives come in, or I do blood work on them when I'm treating them, and their progesterone is 0. I give them a little progesterone support, 1 squirt, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and they go from being hard to get along with and irritable and, not in a happy place to being much more happy and mellow, because progesterone is nature's tranquilizer. Women, they get hot flashes at night. They don't sleep as well at night. As they get closer to menopause, perimenopause, young women who have heavy periods, have a lot of cramping, their progesterone is low. And so progesterone support is there to treat them. But you need to read about how to do that, but understand progesterone's for men and women. It impacts sleep, okay? So growth hormone, progesterone, hormones are very important in that. And then comes, what do I do to just help your brain go to sleep? If you're lying at night, you get in the bed, your brain is worrying, it's going round and round, you're thinking about, oh my Lord, what do I have to do tomorrow? You're worrying about things, whatever. That means your adrenals are low, okay? If you go to bed and you can go to sleep, but you wake up, sometimes that's your progesterone, sometimes that's your thyroid. I ask people, do they have cramps in their legs or feet? If you have cramps in your legs or feet at night, that's generally adrenals. People usually think that's magnesium. Magnesium helps, okay? But generally cramps in your legs and feet at night are low adrenals, okay? I ask people, do they wake up first thing in the morning and their feet hurt when they hit the floor to go to the bathroom? Because we all get up in the morning to go to the bathroom. And that means if your feet hurt when you get up in the first thing in the morning, that means your thyroid is really low, okay? Usually your toes are cold. Your hair falls out if your thyroid's low. Your hair falls out if your adrenals are low. If you're tired first thing in the morning, it usually means your adrenals are low. If you're exhausted in the afternoon, it generally means your thyroid's low, but it can also be your adrenals, okay? So all those things impact your sleep. Your brain's worrying when you first go to sleep, it's your adrenals. So what do I do to help put people's brains to sleep? Well, first, of course, I have them exercising. I have them doing things internally. I have them optimizing their thyroid and adrenals. I have them taking their Dineostema. But then what I generally bring in, okay, which is on the website, is melatonin. Now, why do I use melatonin? It's not a sleeping pill, but it helps put your brain to sleep. The other thing that it does is it's the strongest antioxidant. So it's anti-inflaming you as you sleep, which is a very important thing for you to be anti-inflamed during the day and also at night. So just like anything, you've got to have the right dose. Now, I use a liquid melatonin, and the reason is because it seems to give people consistently around the world, men and women. And how do I know that? Because people come in and they want to buy, or they go to the website and they come back and back. I have people who come from other countries who somebody's given it to them when they went to dinner, and they bring it, they want, 100 bottles basically. So I know it works, and it seems to work better than the pills. It's also because of the formulation of it, because at the end of the day, everything's about formulation, ingredients. The man who formulated it is an extraordinary formulator. And so you have to take the right dose. So you can start with one pump before you go to sleep. But generally, look, if you dream at night, if you actively dream at night, you usually don't need melatonin. So people have wild dreams with melatonin, they already have enough melatonin that's being produced in the pineal gland. But if you don't dream, if you have a hard time going to sleep and your adrenals and your thyroid have been optimized, then, and also at 45 to 50, everybody needs to be using it. Anti-aging, it's known to contribute to being anti-breast cancer, which means anti-prostate cancer as well. And so there's a reason to use it. There's a layers of reasons to use it, but it helps put your brain to sleep. I use 3, 4, 5 squirts a night, okay? You find the dose, and it's all written on the website. You find the dose where you don't wake up groggy, but it really puts you to sleep, okay? But if you have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and it helps keep you from getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom so much because you're asleep, okay? So you've got to have the right dose, very important. The other thing I do, so if people actively dream at night and they don't need melatonin generally, and so what I use then is 5-HTP, okay? Looks like melatonin on the website, but it's basically a whole different thing. 5-HTP will also put you to sleep. People who are insomniacs, I'll have them using melatonin and 5-HTP. And there's a product that I often will recommend, which is, you have to get off the internet. There's been some questions about it, but it's an herbal sleeping pill, which is excellent, called You Dream, which my patients have been using since it came out, never had a problem. And I recommend it. That you have to get off the internet. But 5-HTP, it also increases your serotonin. Serotonin's the happy neurotransmitter. So not only does it put you to sleep, okay, but you wake up the next day and over time it's increasing your serotonin. So if you're depressed, it helps make you in a happier place, which in today's world, who does not need that, okay? Makes you more mellow, makes you in a happier place. So some people I'll have using melatonin one night, 5-HTP the next night. People who are insomniacs. Some people I have, if they dream actively, I don't have them use melatonin. I'll have them use 5-HTP. Sometimes, even the ones that dream actively, I'll have them do 1 squirt of melatonin some nights. But this basically puts your brain to sleep and helps get you into a deeper REM sleep where you're profoundly asleep, where repair occurs more actively. And then those people who need more, and I have some people who are just profoundly insomniac. I've fixed their adrenals, their thyroid, they're on melatonin, they're on 5-HTP, and then I will throw in some U-Dream, which again, you've got to get off the internet, and I've used it since it came out with absolutely no problems. But that do not do increase to us, because that you got to get off the internet. But Dineostema, because you got to keep your DNA healthy, and as long as the strands can be, as long as possible, because that's slowing down and turning back the clock. Melatonin, anti-inflammatory, and it's putting your brain to sleep. You've got to have the right dose. 5-HTP, the dose. Look, I have people start with 1 squirt, then they go up every night or every 2 nights, how often they use it, to 2 squirts, 3 squirts. I use 3 squirts when I use it, okay? 3, sometimes 4 squirts. If I can sleep 8 hours instead of only a few hours, and you should, theoretically, the studies have shown that you really should be asleep by 11, 12 o'clock, because the most repair occurs between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. So absolutely, you should be sleeping then, okay? So set your clocks, discipline yourself so that you go to sleep. And if you are up and you have a second wind, then that means your adrenals are askew, as I call it. Your circadian rhythms are not right, okay? So even more reason you need to reset them with melatonin 5-HTP. And again, 5-HTP, increasing your happiness neurotransmitter. So side effect in people who are a bit depressed, it will help that over time. So I hope that helps. And that's basically my wisdom on insomnia, etc. But it's very important to sleep for anti-aging and for health. And health, without health, you don't have anything. Okay, thank you.